Welcome back to the SESI Makerspace podcast, streaming live from the podcast room at Sacramento City College Makerspace. If you don't know about us, check us out. Sacramento City College Makerspace, SECMakerspace.com. Again, that's SECMakerspace.com. This is your host, Luis Guerrero, DJ LG, in the building. And we have a special guest today from our first SESI cohort. Her name is Alba Cuevaz. Alba, how you doing? Good. So we're here, part of our SESI series, our podcast series. We're here to talk about kind of your experiences and your journey as a first generation student, right? And then being accepted into a community college. We just want to talk about your journey, talk about your struggles, talk about your adventure, what brings you here, and in any inspiring words for our next cohort and anybody watching this on YouTube, SoundCloud, wherever you're streaming this from. Shout out from Sacramento. Alba, tell us about yourself.
All right, so what is there to tell about me?
Well, we could start by, your name, where you're from, how old are you?
All right, so my name is Alba Cuevaz Gutierrez. I am 19 right now. I'm from Sacramento, California. I was born and raised. Just, I've never been out of Sacramento except for like a couple months ago that I got a chance to go to Washington.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But after that, I was always in Sacramento, never left.
Nice.
I'm the daughter of a farmer, so like he's always working, so we'll be staying home. We don't really go out that much. We just, stay home.
It's kind of boring. No, I'm just kidding. So where'd you grow up specifically? South Sacramento?
North Sacramento.
What middle school did you go to, elementary school and high school?
I went to elementary. I went to North Avenue Elementary. And then I moved to Natomas, and I went to Natomas Middle. I had to take the bus. Horrible experience. I hate the bus. And then I went
public transportation.
No, like the school bus, which is worse.
Which is worse than public transportation.
There's some mean middle school kids.
Oh yeah, I could totally relate to that.
And then I went to Natomas High.
And I was not the mean kid. I promise that. You went to Natomas High.
Natomas High.
Nice. Class of what?
2018.
Class of 2018?
17.
JK. Yeah. So class of 2017. Awesome. So you're here at Sacramento City College, and your major is?
Right now it's biology, but once I transfer, it's going to be animal science.
Animal science, right. So you say you're from El Rancho. And those of you who aren't from El Rancho or can't really understand that, the ranch, right? The ranch. Short for the ranch. So you grew up on a farm or a ranch with lots of animals. Can you talk about that? Like, how was that?
So ever since I was young, I've been around animals. My mom says that when I was little, I would go running with like the cows and the horses. I was just a wild kid. So I've always grown up with that. I've had a passion for animals since I was little. I've been able to raise sheep from like babies to grown up, and also cattle.
So it's safe to say that your upbringing plays a role in your career decision.
Yeah, of course.
And you love animals.
I love them.
So, are you vegetarian or vegan?
No.
Oh.
See, I love animals,
but
I also like how they taste, you know?
So you love them in both ways.
I love them in both ways.
Awesome. Yeah, now I'm on the same page. So, in your family history, where are you from? From Mexico. Where's your family from?
My family's from Jalisco.
Jalisco, okay.
I come from a very long line of ranchers. My grandfather was a rancher. My father is a rancher. From my mom's side, my grandfather used to work with cows and all that. When we go back, we still live in a rancho with like cows in our front yard and stuff like that.
So you've never been out of Sacramento. Have you been to Jalisco?
I've been to Jalisco.
Oh, you've been to Jalisco.
But only in our small little ranch. We got a chance to go to Mexico City once. I hated it.
Oh, big city.
Yeah, I hate big cities.
Yeah. You hate big cities. Do you hate Sacramento?
No.
I
love Sacramento.
Sacramento.
Everyone wants to leave Sacramento. I want to stay in Sacramento.
I want to stay in Sacramento too. That's amazing. I love Sacramento.
I love it.
Born and raised. And like I said, I'll probably die in Sacramento. But that's for a different topic on a different day. That's awesome. So you've been to Jalisco once, twice, several times?
3 times.
3 times. And you've been to the big city of Mexico City. And you don't like it.
I hate it.
Too much traffic, too much people.
Too much traffic. I hate it.
Okay.
It's so like cramped. I like open spaces.
So you definitely wouldn't like New York.
No.
Or how'd you like DC? DC is
See,
kind of populated.
DC, I loved it
Uh-huh.
because it was only for a week.
Okay.
So I was in that mindset for a week.
Okay.
But the last day, I was ready to come back. I would love to go back and visit because it's so pretty. You wouldn't think it was like, oh, DC, like, oh, I don't want to go visit there. But once you're there, it's like a totally different experience. I loved it because they have museums, and I love museums.
Yeah, museums are awesome. I had the opportunity to go to Baltimore last year. So we were in DC, we were in Baltimore. We went to all the historical black colleges or black universities. We went to the African American Museum, the Holocaust Museum. We went to several other museums. I can't remember the name off the top, but yeah, it's very different. And I loved it as well. I actually was not ready to come back. I wanted to stay out there for a long period. I wanted to go to New York, but that didn't happen. So let's talk about your education in high school. Were you already motivated to go to college? Has that always been your goal? I know there is this stigma, and there is a like this process of like being, first generation, Latino or Mexican student in the United States. We really don't have anyone to look up to in our family that has been to college, right? And so I want to see, how was that like for you? You wanted to go to college, and if you did, who helped you? How'd you navigate that process? And how'd you find motivation to continue to go when you didn't see that in your family?
So I've always wanted to go to college since I was little because it was like a thing to do. My parents were always very motivating to us to go. They told us, like, don't worry about the money. We'll make it work somehow, but just go to school. In high school, I got kind of lazy the last couple of years because I kind of didn't see the point of it. But I just like kept going, just keep doing it, do what I have to do. And then my 2 older sisters actually came to Sac City before me. So they're like, oh, just come to Sac City. It's way better than high school. And I was just like, oh, okay, then I'll go. I want to do something better for my life, Because in my family, all of my cousins, I have a lot, none of them graduated high school. Only my sisters and I think 2 others. So I was like, I want to be part of that group, the group that graduates and goes on to do bigger things. And then once I got here, my older sisters kind of like showed me around a little bit, but they graduated once I came in. And then I found SESI, which that's been like a big help because they really, when I don't know something, I can go to them and they're like, oh, you know what? It's over here. This is how you do it.
So how'd you find SESI?
My older sister. She found out because she was in the Puente Club.
Right.
And one of the counselors was also in it. And she just like started talking to her about me and how I like horses and I want to be a vet. And she's like, oh, she should come into the SESI program. Before, I didn't know that veterinary science was a STEM field.
Oh, really?
That's how lost I was.
Oh, I mean, it is a science, but you wouldn't really think of it as a traditional STEM.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I can't join your STEM program because I'm not a STEM major.
Yeah, you think STEM of science, you think engineering, you think math, you think technology. But even when people say science, like you think
like laboratory work and stuff like that.
Chemistry, physics, you don't really think of like the animal science.
Yeah, it's like, you're like not STEM.
Yeah, but like you're totally STEM.
Yeah,
you're
now I know.
Yeah, all day. So, that's great. So being first generation, you found motivation. You wanted to be part of that group. You wanted to do something, and it seemed like you had support from your family. How is it now? You're in college. Is your support from the family still there?
It's even more now because I'll be like, I don't want to do it anymore, Sometimes I feel like it's too hard. They're like, no, you already started, so you have to finish.
Yeah.
And now, like, I find more people to support me. Like, before I thought it was just going to be, like, me and my family to support me. But now it's there's so many people.
Who are these people?
Okay, so we have my family, SESI, the teachers. They really care about you. That's something that was really surprising to me. Yeah, we have mentors, well, like, part of SESI.
Right.
And then, like, just the people here in Sac City who work for Sac City, they really care that you move on, After I went to DC, I got to see that. Because it was this big group of people who just looking at us like, oh, how can we help you? How can we help you? I was like, the help is there. I just didn't know it before.
Yeah. So you just don't realize those things like in high school or college, or like, especially in high school, right?
In high school, they're like, because I told them I want to go to community college straight off the bat. And they're like, oh, you do? okay, I'm just gonna like put you to the side. I don't need to worry about you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like the kids who went to like a 4-year, like, oh, come over here, scholarships, there's this, there's that. And for like the community college kids, are like, just get by. You know?
Yeah. No,
like my last year, I didn't take math.
I
was like, how did they let me do that? You know?
Yeah. It goes like that, right? It goes. You definitely see the differential treatment. At least you can feel it. Yeah. No, I totally get what you're saying. So, you knew what you wanted to do, and you really didn't need any help. You kind of already had your eye on the prize.
Yeah, since I was young. At one point, I kind of like was like, is this really for me? But now I'm coming back into like, yeah, I can do it. That's what I want to do.
So you went through a stage of doubtness.
Yeah.
Right. When was that? And how was that? How'd you like overcome that?
It was a couple of years ago because like I saw the work that goes into it. And I was like, oh, I don't think I can do all this math, all this chemistry and all that. But then I started like working with my animals. Like I got 3 calves that were sick. 2 of them passed away, sadly, but one of them made it. And now she's like a full-grown cow. And I'm like, I like this. I want to do this, you know? I want to make a living out of this.
Yeah.
I don't want to just work like in an office or something or cleaning houses. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But I don't think it's for me.
Right.
I think I need to be in a big truck going around to different ranches, be like, oh, your horse is sick. Let me help you.
Right. Or have your own private practice and let it come to you.
That's my dream.
Awesome.
Have a private practice with like a little shelter and my little ranch and all that.
So it seems like you've definitely just like been focused. You went through your stage of doubtness. You've overcame that. Now that you reflect back on that, how is the college life? Is it what you expected? Is it as hard as you perceived it to be, or as other people when they told you in college, when they told you when you were in high school? College is hard. Is it hard? And if it is, just talk about that. Like, at what levels and how it's different.
So it definitely is hard, but it's doable. If you have determination, you do your homework, you ask for help, which is a big deal, asking for help, you can do it. Like in high school, sometimes your classes are hard, but here they're more hard, but it's different because the teachers, they really care about what they're teaching. Like, for example, my high school, some teachers, not all, towards the end, they started like to give up, which is like, oh, just like do whatever. But these teachers don't give up. They're like, okay, 5 more minutes of class, I'm going to teach those 5 minutes of class. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, there's a lot of help. You can go to tutoring like in the library, Lillard Hall. You can go to your teacher. I didn't have that in high school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard, but there's a lot of more support system to help you pass.
Okay. Yeah. So now, you think you could finish? You think you could do it?
Yeah. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard 7 years, but I think I can do it.
Yeah. It took me 8.
Oh my God.
And I did it. All physics, calculus, electrical engineering. Definitely very difficult. Challenging, but overcame it for sure. So you're in SESI. You found out about it through your sister. You're here. You've talked about how SESI has a lot of like resources, a lot of support. What other aspects does SESI provide to you that allows you to be successful?
The one thing that I think is the most important is the way that they give you a sense of family, like a sense of belonging. They give us like mentors who at first I thought like, oh, we're not really going to connect with them because it's just like some random people.
Right.
But they took us on a hiking trip, and after that, it was just like, we're best friends.
Yeah.
At lunch, like, I see most people, like, they don't know where to sit or what to do. We have our table. We can come together, just talk, relax, and just be ourselves, you know?
Right.
And they help us out. If, like, we need something, they tell us where to go, or they help us themselves. I think that's the biggest thing that's keeping me here. Because I'm like, there's people who I can come and study with. So, like, I won't come and be like, oh, I'm alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. So that sense of family, right? Culture.
When at first they told us, like, oh, we're going to be like a familia, I was like, sure,
Yeah,
sure
right.
we are. But I mean, when Martin told us that, he wasn't kidding.
Yeah.
It's like that.
It's important, dude. It's very important when you have it's always important to have, like, you know, those resources, but this group of family, right, that you could go to for anything, right? For studying, for, you know, to vent, to hang out. Like, all these things are very important for our success, right? Because typically on a campus like this, for us who we are first timers in our entire family line, we don't know what it's like. Our family doesn't know what it's like. We are very isolated on campus. We're in a sense lonely, right? And then you have like this, I guess, this feeling of like, how do I put it? You're scared, but you're not really scared. It's
like you're nervous, scared, all together. It's just
you
don't know what
questions.
to do.
You don't know what to do. You don't know who to go to. And you're kind of, like all these things, right? And that's why this cohort, the sense of family and community, is extremely important for our success as a population, as a demographics, right? As a group of students of first generation, and that low income background is extremely important for us to be together and move forward like that. We're in the makerspace. We have the podcast room. We have the makerspace. I remember you made a really cool cell phone stand on a laser cutter.
My mom uses it all the time.
I actually need you to print me one for me, or a couple of them, because it's really awesome. But talk about the makerspace. Talk about how this has, you know, gave you some interest, some disinterest. Talk about the makerspace. What do you think of it? How's it helped you? How's it not?
All right, so first you should know that I always have a backup plan. And my backup plan for not being a vet is being some type of like designer or like architect, something like that. And so coming here to the makerspace, it allows me to like look into that type of major. Like I can design phone stands, I can design posters. I've done a lot of cool things that if it wasn't for the makerspace, I wouldn't do. Yeah. I get to go into like the inside of design and all that. Yeah. It shows me like maybe I can, even if like I am a vet, I can do this on the side. Or on my way to becoming a vet, I can do this to get some money. Right. To pay for vet school, because that's expensive. It
is expensive.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. It seems like you got a good backup plan, and it seems like the makerspace has allowed you to tap into another creative side of you, right?
And there's a lot of people here to help you. Yeah. Like the laser cutter, I didn't know how to use that at first, but like Christian, he helped me a lot, and they just like, they're here to help you. And it doesn't matter if it's like the 5th or the 6th time that you have the same stuff. Yeah. They just keep helping you. Right.
Cool. What's one thing you like about the makerspace?
The laser cutter.
The laser cutter.
I'm in love with it.
Everybody loves it. Yeah.
I love it. But I'm trying to like go out and explore more things here. Because like I can't spend all my time on the laser cutter.
Yeah. I agree. So what about... your last thoughts in terms of what you left with this year, with your experience being in SESI, your experience with the makerspace, you know, some final words of what you left with this year, what you learned, and what you would like the next cohort of SESI students to know.
All right, so for the next students, I would say if you're going to join the program, be serious about it. There's a lot of good things that they give us, but if you don't go out and reach for it and take it, nothing's going to happen. Like they offered the DC trip to everyone, all 24 of us, I think, and only about 6 of us applied, and 4 of us got to go. And it was free, you know? Yeah. Like there's a lot of things here to help you, but if you don't go look for it, nothing's going to happen. Okay. And don't be afraid to ask for help, because a little help can go a long way.
Totally. That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was Alba Cuevaz, finishing her first year here at Sacramento City College, biology, animal science. She's going to do big things. Very creative, very intelligent, young STEM woman. Till next time, next podcast, I'm checking out. Peace out. Luis Guerrero.